Okay, choir. I hope you're having a great day. This is take number 10 of this ed puzzle because I am just so passionate about this topic. It is so hard not to make a 30-minute ed puzzle. It's not 30 minutes, but make a long ed puzzle because I love this topic. So we're going to be starting a series where we break down the music history and sort of genre understanding of different a cappella styles. So there's only a few in the range of a cappella, but we're going to delve into them. The first one is one that's near and dear to my heart, and it is barbershop music. So what I really want to do is I want to show you what barbershop is and its sound. I want to talk to you about the history because I think it's a really interesting conversation about race and sort of its style, where it comes from, and what it looks like today. So I'm going to try to do this with playing as little as possible and talking as little as possible and sort of making this as enjoyable as possible. So we're going to get started and we're going to talk about stereotypical barbershop. So this is The Music Man, and we'll listen to a little bit of it. There's a little bit of story, so I'll be skipping a tiny bit, but listen to what traditional barbershop sounds like. Stereotypical, I should say.
Ice cream, talk slow. Ice cream.
You see, singing is just the same talking. Answer, ice cream. Answer, ice cream. Answer, ice cream. Friends from hated each other for 15 years. Ice cream. Ice cream. Ice cream.
How can there be any sin insincere? Where is the good in good? Your apprehensions confuse me, dear.
So that's what our stereotypical barbershop sounds like. We have our quartet together, arranged bass, baritone, lead, and as it succinctly describes me, a tenor, right? So barbershop music is 4-part harmony sung with relatively simple melodies. I keep saying mix those two words. It's without instruments, and generally the voicing is this. We have our bass in the bottom. Our lead is our second highest voice part. They are generally taking whatever the melody is. Our baritone is covering above and below the melody, so there are times where our baritone will be above our lead, but generally it is bass, baritone, lead, and tenor. So we get our ice cream, ice cream, ice cream. That's our barbershop generally arrangement. Now I will talk briefly about Sweet Adelines at a later date. Sweet Adelines are a SSAA form of barbershop music that has come in the last 40 years of barbershop. That is all female, so it's a soprano, soprano, alto, alto, which is kind of cool as well. But traditional barbershop or stereotypical barbershop is TTBB. Now, I say stereotypical because when we look at a barbershop, and I had this queued up, but this is like the 17th take, so I think I got rid of it. A barbershop musician generally looks stereotypically like this. These are the Dapper Dans from Disney World. These are Jimmy Fallon's barbershop quartet. You have the matching hats, the matching suits, the choreography, the bow ties, the silly jokes. That is stereotypical barbershop music. But the roots of barbershop music look a little bit like this. So barbershop music in its origin is an American music style, meaning it was not started in any other country but America. But it's originally an African American musical style. So in order to talk about it, we need to go back a little bit farther. than when it actually originated. So in the 17 and mid 1800s until the end of the Civil War, slaves were taught Christianity as a means of, and this isn't the way that I would describe it. Obviously, we're a little bit more civilized as a society, but we're a little more knowledgeable as a society. But they used Christianity as a way to civilize and assimilate slaves into American culture. So what came out of that was a mix of the traditional African rhythm and musical style with sacred texts, and that turned into spirituals. Now, those of you who have been with me in choir know for a while know that I'm a huge fan of the African American spiritual. I think it's a really powerful piece of music, and I love singing it in choir. And Barbershop is an offshoot of that. So what happened is in the 1880s and 1890s, the black community is using this harmonized style to recreationally mess with popular songs of the day. They take popular songs, they add their harmonies into them, and improvise on those harmonies. Similar to the little barbershop thing we saw with Music Man. This led to the origin of barbershop style. Now what happens is that barbershop style gets imitated and stolen by white minstrel performers. So if you don't know what a minstrel show is, a minstrel show is like a live performance from white musicians who would generally go from city to city and would do dancing, singing, comedy acts. And one of the things they would do for white minstrel performers is they would use blackface. So blackface is makeup and rouge designed to look like an African American. And within that, they would generally use songs and inspirations that would parody black culture or black culture as understood by white Americans at the time. So it would be a parody, so meaning it would kind of make fun of it. And what they would do is they would take this barbershop style and then put it in a blackface song. This became so popular, though, that white professional quartets, often consisting of minstrel performers working together, started bringing that into a recording studio scene. So you're thinking, your records of the time. So this is an important conversation because it talks about a little bit of gatekeeping that was going on. When I mean gatekeeping, it was barring certain people from doing certain things. Black quartets were rarely recorded. In my research for doing this Ed puzzle, it was really hard for me to find actual recordings of African American quartets because for a while they were rarely recorded, and when they weren't massively distributed. Instead, it was more the white culture or the white quartets that would get that performing and that recording in. So what happened is barbershop becomes popular. People see that the popular barbershop artists are all white groups, and then this becomes the stereotype in the style, leading to sort of the erasure of the traditional barbershop. Now, luckily, in the 90s, we did some research and kind of went back to these roots, and now traditionally understand that this is what barbershop started as. But I do think it's important to note. Now, I want to play a few videos for you. One is an all black barbershop quartet from Syracuse that does a Motown style on a church hymn. So I think this is kind of a cool way to show how recreational songs of the day would have been adjusted, but in our time. So we'll listen to a little bit of that.
They say it's alright, it's alright, come on and praise the Lord. It's alright, it's alright, have a good time, but it's alright, oh, it's alright. Now we wanna move it forward, feel the Holy Ghost. Come on and praise His name. And don't be ashamed, 'cause it's alright. Oh, it's alright. And now listen to me. And clap your feet. Come on and praise the Lord. And don't be ashamed, 'cause
So the cool thing here is we can actually hear the different voice parts. So our bass on our far right, then our lead, then our tenor, and then our baritone. So we can kind of see how that arrangement is shown in this particular example. Next, I just want to show two things really quickly. One of them is a passion of mine and a group that I can't say enough good things about, but that will be our last part, and that's the Ringmasters. We're going to listen to what's called a tag. So a barbershop tag is generally the very end of a piece. The barbershops sort of do a vocal style that makes it clear that the song's about to end, right? It's the tag right at the end of the song. It's normally where they show off their craziest harmonies. They involve slides. They involve multiple chord changes within a phrase, and it's awesome to hear. So this is a Go the Distance tag, and it's actually part of the Ringmasters with a guy named Tim Warwick, who's a really famous lead. And this is a super resonant room, so if you can't hear this super well, look this up on your own. And this is Go the Distance from Hercules. So that was so short. I just want to play it one time so I can talk about a few things. So we have off screen, I think it's actually this guy in the red. We have a guy singing the "Where I Belong." That's our lead singing a high A flat for a tenor, which is a big note. I'm holding that for essentially 34 seconds. You know, he does not stop until the song ends. So that's a crazy amount of breath support. So I want you to listen for that held note throughout the whole time. You'll hear Tim Warwick on the tenor, actually, instead of being lead, that way up there, our bass, and then our baritone. So listen to that one more time. Listen to that long held note. So. Never breathes. Slide. Still holding. Never breathe. So for almost 30 seconds, that tenor does not breathe. They just continue to pump out sound. So you're talking about breath management, being able to really hold your breath. He holds a really high note for 30 seconds about. It's crazy. So that's what a barbershop tag looks like. There are other ones too. That's just probably my favorite. And then finally, just to finish this off, we'll listen to a little bit. Let me see how I did. 13 minutes. That is better than my last few attempts. Hopefully you've appreciated this. I have a huge love for barbershop music. We do have a barbershop group that meets or that has met in the years past called the Classy Cats. We're hoping to start a female one this year, a Sweet Adeline. Hopefully that'll be another video that I do. We're going to listen to the Ringmasters. They are one of the best barbershop groups around. This is a Notre Dame medley from the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Here you're going to see perfectly tuned harmony. You're going to see awesome vowel work. You're going to see breath work, another long held note. You're going to see performance qualities, some comedy in there. It's really an awesome performance. So I'm going to let it play, and then you're going to have a wonderful day. Really quickly, I should say, bass is right here, baritone, your lead, and your tenor. So just so you can see where everyone is. Every day they shout and slowly go about their lives. Oh, heedless of the gift is to be there. For if I were in their state, I treasure every instant time. Slowly by the sand, I will chase the morning air like more than
with my share. Won't resent, won't despair, hold and bend, so I won't care. All I have spent one day. So that is a riddle to guess if you can see the bells of Notre Dame. What makes a monster and what makes a man? What makes a man? Bells, 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 bells of Notre Dame.
Long held note. Right here. With that, I hope you've enjoyed the barbershop style. I hope you've enjoyed this first video on our Ed Puzzle series on acapella music. I hope you have a great day.